Now, there is something so triggering about flock cameras that people are gathering en masse to take them down by any means possible, using saws and baseball bats and even ramming their trucks into them. Meanwhile, less combative Americans have chosen another approach. They're merely blocking the view of the cameras and also organizing to put pressure on local officials to take action to remove them. So, when Flock CEO Garrett Langley decided to make the rounds on social media to calm the revolt, well, people started noticing something very creepy about it. And this came out in an interview with Fox News and Kayleigh McEnany, who pressed him to acknowledge that there is a real privacy debate here. And something that he said drew a lot of outrage. Let's take a look.
I value my privacy. My family values their privacy. My employees value their privacy. But what we're talking about is safety as well. And so I think when people talk about just one of these, privacy or safety, they're prioritizing the wrong thing. And what we have to prioritize as a country is compromise. How do we have our safety and how do we balance privacy? And so when I think about legislation that calls for an outright ban, that's like banning vehicles. That would never have made sense. Instead, what we did is we introduced laws against drunk driving. We introduced laws around seatbelts, laws around airbags.
Now, Senator Rand Paul hammered Langley after the interview, and he said Flock CEO Garrett Langley wants you to compromise away your Fourth Amendment rights. Our founding fathers are rolling in their graves at this suggestion. Well, Langley actually had the temerity to respond to him on X, and he said, quote, "Senator, that was not my comment. We believe in the Constitution at Flock. I hope you can agree to that. And Americans deserve to be safe," unquote. Now, of course, Americans deserve to be safe. That's not even a matter of debate. But to quote Benjamin Franklin, those who would give up essential liberty to purchase a little temporary safety deserve neither liberty nor safety. And safety is exactly the sales pitch being made to Americans. Founders anticipated this bait and switch. It's a classic that's been used by tyrants since time immemorial. Thus, privacy isn't matter a consumer preference. The Fourth Amendment exists precisely because the founders understood the dangers of allowing authorities unrestricted power to investigate citizens. Now, Langley's somewhat glib Silicon Valley manner also drew comparisons to tech bros such as Mark Zuckerberg and Sam Altman, another creepy technology executive explaining why Americans should learn to live with a revolutionary technology that raises enormous questions about privacy and individual autonomy. Now, let's take Facebook, for example. Mark Zuckerberg constantly assured us that Facebook is a social media company founded to bring people together. Turns out it is actually a data surveillance farm that engages in mass censorship, engineers algorithms to get children hooked on social media, and even spent hundreds of millions of dollars interfering in the 2020 election. And of course, there's also OpenAI, aka ChatGPT. Sam Altman co-founded OpenAI as a nonprofit organization meant to create responsible artificial intelligence that would serve humanity. Instead, he steered it toward a profit-driven model that has drawn widespread criticism for controversial partisan practices while being accused of being deceiving to early backers like Elon Musk. Well, how mad are flock cameras making Americans? Well, at least 33 acts of vandalism had been identified by The Guardian. By early August, while nearly 100 localities have reportedly ended their use of flock cameras, according to activist estimates. Well, obviously the intensity of the backlash should send a hint to government officials. Most Americans really don't want to be tracked everywhere they go. And flock cameras are proliferating. The Atlanta-based company says its network has grown to more than 120,000 cameras across 49 states, with roughly 5,000 law enforcement agencies and 6,000 communities using its surveillance products. The cameras photograph vehicles traveling on public roads and can record license plates, along with details such as make, model, and color. Police can then search the resulting database, potentially reaching far beyond the cameras installed in their own jurisdiction. The Wall Street Journal reports that those cameras are now capturing a mind-boggling 20 billion license plates every month. That is not a traffic camera here or there. That is a mass nationwide surveillance network. And so Langley, he is trying to defend himself by hitting the media circuit, and he recently highlighted Michigan, where he says Flock detected 53 missing people in a single month, including abducted or missing children and elderly people who have become lost.
9 years ago, I was sitting at my dining room table asking the question, why does crime exist? Why is it so hard to solve?
Garrett Langley says a spike in crime in his Atlanta neighborhood led him and two friends to create Flock Safety, cameras that read and catalog license plates.
Some of the biggest companies in the world rely on Flock, almost 7,000 police departments, and tens of thousands of neighborhoods across the country use our products every day.
Michigan lawmakers have introduced multiple bills that would require warrants, stricter data retention, and penalties for misuse. Do you support that?
When I look at regulation, I say there's a couple things we have to get right. We have to decide how long this data should live. Whether it's 7 days, 30 days, a year, the state of Michigan should decide what matches their public safety strategy. We should decide how the data gets shared, and then we should decide the penalties for abusing that power. And that's not just for Flock, that's for all of the systems they have access to.
Now, those are real benefits, and I'm not disparaging that at all. Nobody should pretend otherwise. But parents who care about their children should want them to be safe. And of course, we have other tools and technology that we can use, and we can manage it ourselves, like tracking children's mobile phones, which have a digital signal that can be used to trace where they went and what happened. And so you see that parents control that technology. They don't control Flock cameras or the data, and that's the real problem here. So Flock CEO can pull on our heartstrings all he wants. The real issue is that helping public safety at the margins shouldn't be causing a threat far greater in magnitude. It's a simple matter of human nature, because if the power to spy on millions of Americans can be abused, it will be abused. It's no longer theoretical. It's to be expected. So weigh in with your own thoughts about this story. We always appreciate hearing from you at the Becker Brief.
Thank you. It's been a great day. Love to all.
Thank you. Darth Vader?
The Emperor is a fan of Flock, and we must continue utilizing Flock technologies so that we can follow and surveil the rebel scum as they move from playground to playground, from playground to pool, from pool to gymnasium, because we all know that the Flock cameras are not only following the license plate readers, they are following children. They are following children in parks and gymnasiums, and we need this. I need this so I can stalk my ex-girlfriend.